Gather round. It's time for your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group. Listen closely as your coaches discuss the culture, the economy, and the political scene, and how it affects your home and your real estate investments. Real Estate Chalk Talk is where you learn the science of buying and selling real estate and the art of living in your home. Your education begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey there. Welcome to the program. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group, hittnergroup.com, Hittner Group.com, 612-627-8000. That's 612-627-8000. Keith, Calvin, and Mike in the studio. We're going to talk about the real estate market and the Trump effect of what's going on in the real estate market today. I know what's going on in our 7-county metropolitan area, kids. We have, since January 1st, a massive increase in inventory of 31 units. Massive increase. 31 additional units on the market. Just really nothing much coming on the market.
No.
It's kind of surprising.
Steady.
Usually she just is really flowing on, especially now as we get into February. You'll start seeing stuff really flow.
Well, you always say it's after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but the Vikings are out, so then in Minnesota, there's some people that are still interested, but not.
I think it's more like a weather effect.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
I think so too.
But we've had some pretty decent showing weather. Not a lot of snow, and temperatures are normal-ish.
I mean just for like the general trends.
Yeah. Yep. You're right.
Just February, March, things start coming. The leases come due for the young people that are renting, buying their first houses, et cetera, et cetera. That's kind of, but it then correlates to when the Super Bowl is and March Madness and all that stuff.
And to your point, even like pre-COVID, like we always go back to 2019-20. Pre-COVID, like what was a norm, we're really about the same inventory as we were then now. It's we are 5,000 houses on the market now, 5,100. Back in 2019, it was 5,800. So it's just not that. We are as about a normal market as you can imagine. I think that the interest effect has been fully absorbed into the marketplace, and people
the interest rate.
The higher interest rates have become, I hate the word normalized, but I'm going to say it, normalized.
Yeah.
Because people are just used to it now. And they've been hearing it now for a year and a half.
Right.
So like.
And no one's saying it's going to go into 5s or 4s. No one's saying that.
No.
So, yeah.
And we had a conversation this morning at Coffee Clutch. We're talking about the things that could affect interest rates. Trump says he's going to get the home interest rates down. So the question is, well, how do you go about doing that? How do you do that? I mean, that's a big ship to turn.
Right.
And although they went up quick enough, like anything else, the price of bubble gum goes up fast, but it comes down slow.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's all about the demand for money. And when the government is spending $2 trillion a year more than we're taking in, and we're basically sending, buying condoms for people in other countries, then and every dollar of that is borrowed, by the way.
Right.
That's a demand for money. So,
do you think we'll get to the point where we get a balanced budget through the administration or not?
I think so. I think it'll come slow and hard, but it's be a combination of. I think the Doge thing is fabulous, for nothing less than the fact that it points out the waste and fraud and stupidity. Yeah. Of what's going on, because you got to wonder about when they say they've given. I don't care what the dollar amount is. Even we've given $12 million, which when you're dealing with a $5 trillion budget, seems like not even pennies. But it's the point of it.
Yeah,
$12 million to do a DEI play in
Guatemala.
What?
Yeah, clearly there's no.
Who thought that was a good idea?
There's no culture of trying to save anything.
No,
it's just there's a culture of just it doesn't matter how much you give away.
Right. There's just so much. There's just so much, and they just keep printing it, and they don't even bother to print it anymore. Right. So it's just X's and O's on a spreadsheet, and away we go.
I think the professional term is crap.
Yeah, I think so
right?
too. Yeah,
because the White House press secretary, she just always refers to, I don't want my tax dollars going to this crap, and there's nothing that's being done right now that isn't kind of common sense, I think, for the majority of people. If you said, hey, Mike, does this make sense or does this make sense? It's like common sense. We would all agree.
Right.
And I think that's what's so important, that they continue to push out, like, this is where the money's being spent. It's fascinating, and they got to keep sending that message.
Yeah,
You know?
and pointing out specific things like that.
Yep.
Waste, fraud, and abuse. We've been hearing that for 50 years.
Right.
You know?
Generalized waste.
But when you dial it into this,
and
and
you say
people
exactly
start
what it is,
scratching their head like,
what
well,
the
that
heck?
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know?
So then there's the as far as the housing market and how it impacts that. Of course, we still, we have suddenly stopped talking about the fires in California and the hurricanes and all that. But I was on a thing yesterday, just a news thing, and they were talking about sheetrock costs. And in South Carolina and in Florida, it was $260 a sheet per sheet. Of sheetrock is what they're being quoted for installation and cost of materials and stuff like that. Well, that was an $8 piece of sheetrock, a few years ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And now it's $260. So think of that, how that is going to trickle into our new construction costs that we're seeing in the market right now. As these builders, national builders.
Yeah, and that's probably some ridiculous temporary scenario because of the
it is
rebuilding.
Absolutely, but the point is that that pushes that price point up, and it never comes back down fully. Again, it just keeps on, that price creep keeps on going up and up and up.
Well, and what impact does that have on homeowners insurance?
Oh, ridiculous.
Your insurance is going to go through the roof too, because
Oh,
they have to pay.
Yeah, your
It is.
replacement
Yeah,
cost
it's
coverage.
crazy.
Well, even now, we had
Crazy.
Our insurance guys on a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about just that, the insurance costs and how, if you have a house with a roof that's 10 years old, there are some companies that just won't insure that house, or they'll just won't insure the roof. Roof is, you're self-insuring on that roof. That's a problem when you've got homes that are around, especially like a lot of our estate houses that we work with a lot, and the roofs are old.
Well, I tried to get, I bought a cabin and had to get insurance, and it's $300 a month, which just seems crazy to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I said, the roof, the roof's a big part of it. I said, I'll self-insure the roof. That's no problem. No, can't do that.
Oh, really?
Has to be on there because your roof is everything. Everything falls underneath that roof,
Okay.
right? And so if the roof isn't in good shape, then the rest of the house is very susceptible to
damage from
so they
water.
want to make sure you've got a good roof on there to protect everything inside it.
Oh, wow.
So they wouldn't let me do that.
Then the other
That
effects.
seems like I understand what you're saying from that standpoint, and from the insurance company too. But a lot of them are going to, not or doing ACV.
Yes.
So you can do ACV instead of doing
and
actual
ACV is
cash
what?
value.
Actual cash value.
value for the roof.
So they're depreciating the
Versus
roof.
depreciation, or versus a scale of depreciation of some sort based on the age of the roof too, as opposed to saying you have to insure it,
Mhm.
full coverage,
Replacement cost.
replacement cost.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you know anybody that can sell
Seems
me
like a money
insurance
grab.
where I
is
can
what
do
I'm
my own
saying,
roof,
from the
I
insurance
would love
company.
to do that. Just have them call me.
Well, but
Or I'll-
you just go ACV on it though, because then the rates come down. It's insured, but in effect you're
okay.
yourself
ACV.
Yeah.
Actual cash value for
All
the
right,
roof.
I got to write that down.
So then, what do you think of the effect is going to be on the rest of the stuff? I mean, this administration now, since they've come in for a couple of weeks, has done so much so fast with so many different areas, and it all has an impact. With sending illegals out of the country, which reduces costs to us, to the taxpayer, because we're paying for their freight. It reduces demand for food because they're gone now, eaten somewhere else. All of that stuff trickles into our cost of living and back down into your individual household of what you have for disposable income and monies that you can now spend on your families or whatever, or if you're considering making a move, how many of those dollars are now available to you for housing. And there's just so much going on in so many different areas that it's almost, I don't know that anyone can even get a handle on what the impact is going to be on the economy.
I think he's really trying to do things fast so it can have a trickle effect by the time the midterm elections come.
I think you're right.
So,
Yeah. Plus, there's always this honeymoon period. I mean, he's got the wind at his back right now.
Oh, for sure.
So it's like, don't be fiddle farting around here. You've got a couple of months where people are just going to say whatever you want, and so get as much done as fast as you can because the resistance it will be mounting.
Yeah.
Well, his approval rating is so high, and the approval rating for the Democrat is the lowest it's ever been.
Yeah. And what's great is they're so transparent about everything, and they're speaking like English, like real speak talk. Like they look at the spending and say this is a bunch of crap. That's how people talk.
Right.
That's how people think. And then people some of the media has been commenting on Trump's language. It's like, well, something. He's a contractor.
Yeah.
He's a developer. That's how they talk.
Yeah.
Straightforward. Don't pull any punches.
Yep.
All right. When we come back, we're going to talk with Mike Hilborn about his elections hopefulness as he takes over the Minnesota and what's happened to Minnesota. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to the program. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group. Keith, Calvin, Mike in the studio. Tampon Tim is waging war on the state of Minnesota, trying to raise taxes to cover the losses, go from an $18 million surplus to a $10 million deficit. Or
Billion. Those are B's.
Billions.
Yeah. How do you do that?
How do you do that is right.
Mike, how do you do that? Can you run your business that way, Mike?
No one can. It's not sustainable. We know that.
So they go, well, look at what they did with their presidential campaign. They'll spend $1 billion or whatever it is on that.
$1 billion.
$1 billion lost, and then they've got millions and millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars they can't account for.
Yeah.
And so the donors are like freaking out over that deal. It's like, well, where the heck did my money go? Well, that's our government.
Yep.
Use up a lot of it on the exit interview.
On the exit interview, right. That's our government, though. It's just like it's when the governments get so big where there's just so much flow. Look at their military. Hasn't passed an audit in how many years? They have no idea what they're spending. No idea. Unbelievable to me. So you ran for legislature.
House of Representatives.
House of Reps, okay. Yep. Which, thank goodness, somebody won because now it's we got.
It was like one.
Yeah.
One guy won.
One guy won.
Out of the whole group.
That's
it. Yeah. And then that tied it up. But that just shocks me.
Yeah.
How is it not like 5 or 10 with what we've been going through the last 4 years? The whole thing always just boggles my mind.
It does boggle the mind. So I look at the leadership there in the party, and I lay it right at their feet. To be honest with you, that's my opinion. Because if you look at common sense, like Kelvin was saying in the last segment, of what's going on in our state, and go through the same kind of budgetary review and say, look at this money going here, and look at this money going here. That's why you're, billions of dollars upside down on a budget.
Yeah, and then, you look at this Doge thing, and you look at how many people are protesting that. Yep, you learn nothing, really. I was at Longfellow's restaurant in South Minneapolis, right on Lake Street there by the river, and and Walls showed up. He came to dinner there. Pretty much the entire restaurant started applauding.
Really?
Yeah, applauding. Yeah, like what?
Yeah. Well,
was that just a respect move?
No.
Or was it? Do you feel like they're truly like happy?
Yes, they were. I mean, it's that part of town for sure is very liberal, right? But they love the guy, and it's just I don't know, it makes me sick.
Yeah, I know.
I've never gone into a restaurant and people applauded me, Mike.
We'll try to
I don't
change
know how
that.
I do that. I want that.
You have to run for something, Kelvin.
You gotta let them know you're coming.
Gotta let them know.
Oh, let them know I'm coming.
That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Oh, okay.
The media, get the media out there.
Yeah.
And all that.
You need a publicist.
What are you gonna do? I do.
So now you're going to run again.
Well, yeah, I plan, and actually, I'm trying to run for mayor, so that the St. Paul mayor is up for election this year.
Okay.
And
this year, I mean 25.
this year, like right now, and it's
Oh.
it's in an off year thing.
Okay.
they're trying to get it to line up now with the national and the midterms.
Sure.
So this particular term is 3 years.
Okay.
And so and I've been calling everybody. Well, and I don't know a lot of people, but I've been calling and reaching out. Nothing. No response. The Republican Party in Minnesota is an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
There is no support.
They
There's no.
just kind of handed it over.
I don't know what they're doing. It's like every conversation you have with anybody, when you do talk to somebody that's in either a rep or senator, that the words are always this: we need to do this. The Democrats are really good at it. We're terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why would we be terrible?
Right would be, yeah.
We're primarily business people. I mean, really, we can't line this up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I ran, it's like, okay, give me the guide. Give me a guide in order. You know, do this, and just do these next 10 steps. Nothing. There was nothing like that. It's unbelievable.
It's shocking, right?
Yeah. We're not really serious about winning. That's is really the thing in Minnesota. We're not. I don't even think they. It's like, look, I know I'm not going to win. And I knew I wasn't going to win. They told me, you're not winning. It's like, I don't care if I win.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to try.
Right.
You know, I don't want one choice. It's like, at least have somebody on the ballot. And the same thing with St. Paul, Mayor of St. Paul. And I would be an excellent mayor, by the way. I mean, I'm a businessman. I've raised my family in St. Paul. I've lived in St. Paul forever. I've got a business there right now. And we've got to stop this thing.
Yeah.
The taxes in St. Paul are out of control. The number of people that are moving out and businesses that are leaving and empty buildings, it's going to get so much worse.
Yeah.
Who's the mayor right now again?
I don't remember. I should know his name.
Yeah, you should probably know.
I should know
if you're going to
Younger guy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why is he stepping down?
He's not.
No,
he's not.
But he's
No,
not
he's running.
Okay.
Yeah. But somebody should. You got to at least try.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then you know, rental property. You know, I have a friend of mine who has a lot of rental properties, thousands of units, and they're selling everything in St. Paul and in Minneapolis. And his business has been in St. Paul, but they're just getting all completely out of, or they're trying to get rid of their residential properties and is converting everything to some kind of commercial application, just to get rid of the rent control and all of that, because it's going to become increasingly difficult to manage the properties.
It's just going to get worse. Why anybody on earth would open a business in St. Paul? Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
The taxes and what they're doing and everything that's happening in St. Paul now is, from what I'm told, is all these NGOs are buying these properties or these nonprofits, right? So then all those properties then come off the tax rolls,
Right.
and so it's a smaller base paying for everything, so everything's got to go up, and then the spending is just like, we know it's out of control.
And St. Paul, the streets in St. Paul have been notoriously bad for 40 years. It was always bad. You know, they're poorly maintained. The snow plowing is not as good as.
It's not like the suburb. No.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's a hard place to live. So there are some attractive things about living in the city. We talk to people all the time who want to live in the city because of those.
Yep.
You know, there are some attractive nuisances, I call them, in the city that draw people like moths to a flame. But it seems like, from my experience and the clients that we've worked with, you have younger people who want to be in the city for that, for entertainment and proximity, until they have a kid or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they got their nose pointed and to get out of the city.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I live right downtown.
Yeah.
You know, I'm right on the river.
And how do you feel from living downtown? I mean, are you a push button dad where you just kind of come home, push the button, go into the garage, ride the elevator up to your condo, and
Yeah. There's nothing to do. Well, first of all, it's a condo, right?
Yeah.
So there's nothing to do. There's no something to work on or fix. I mean, this cabin is the greatest thing in the world because I actually get to get my hands dirty
tinker.
again. Yeah, you know, while I'm remodeling stuff, I'm like remodeling my bathroom. It's like I love every minute of it. It's like, oh, you're painting, loving painting. You know, and I've got neighbors on the floor kind of thing, and my business is 5 minutes away from there, and I mean everything. My whole life's in St. Paul.
Well, how do you feel about the safety in living in, because you're right downtown?
Yeah, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good. Yeah.
We're done. we'll go to Minneapolis, St. Paul all the time, and unless you go into neighborhoods you know you probably shouldn't, I think it's incredibly safe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I've got houses for.
I talk to people and they're like, "Oh, it's so dangerous." Like where? Like where?
You know,
I'm walking around all the time, and
we have houses on the market in the city all the time.
Yeah.
And you go to visit the properties, right? Because you got to service the listing and all that. And then you drive around to the little neighborhoods, and there's this little store down the street here, and there's a little shop over there, and people are walking, all about kind of just moving around, living their lives.
Yeah.
And it's I think for someone who's grew up in the suburbs and has never really spent much time in the city, it's more of a scary thing than for someone who's lived in the city like we have in both places, and we're in there all the time moving about, and it's surprising. It's fun to see people walking, pushing the baby carriage down the street.
I think the city has done a good job of, or at least the police department has done a good job of getting the word out and trying to hire new officers. Minneapolis especially. I know they had a big push for people to come in and work for the city of Minneapolis. I have a friend that is out of state, and he's a police officer. And I was talking to him about moving back into the cities, and Minneapolis has a good program to get officers back in. I don't know about St. Paul. But
St. Paul didn't. Minneapolis, the city council tried to abolish.
Right, the
I mean, just
department.
unbelievable,
Yeah,
stupid.
Right, but this is
St.
years
Paul
ago
never,
now, and it seems like things are getting.
Well, that was a
back.
couple years ago.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, St. Paul never suffered what Minneapolis did.
Right.
And St. Paul is actually doing better on keeping campers out of the parks and along the streets, kind of thing. They've really kind of said, okay, that's enough.
Not
of
something
Enough
we're
of
going to
that
want to
stuff.
see.
We're not going to do that anymore, which is great. It's like, boy, you don't do that.
Don't do that. You wind up looking like
Minneapolis.
Los Angeles.
You look like Minneapolis. We're going to head out to break here. When we come back, maybe we can talk about your business a little
Sure,
bit.
yeah,
you go.
Mike Hilborn's here in studio. We'll talk about roof to deck and everything that goes along with your ancillary services that you guys offer.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Real Estate Chalk Talk. We're going to head out to break. Give us a call on our phone 612-627-8000 or log on to our website, hittnergroup.com, HITTNER group.com. Connect with us online at hittnergroup.com, and we'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back to the program. This is your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group.
hittnergroup.com.
612-627-8000. That's the number to
go.
call. 612-627-8000.
Just slow your mind down.
Same number. My mind moves fast. Sometimes I
can't
get
keep up.
get so much. My tongue gets in front of my eye teeth. I can't see what I'm saying. They always say. Mike Hilborn's in the studio. RTC Companies. Okay, I submit to you, Michael, that there is a Kennedy effect that will impact your business.
Okay, what is that?
Here's the thing. Kennedy is all about prevention,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
About doing things.
RFK we're talking about
RFK.
here. Yeah.
Doing things from a health standpoint so you don't get sick.
Yeah.
Right? That's like a maintenance thing. So do some exercise, eat good food, stay away from this, stay away from that. Just be thoughtful about it. That's your whole business is maintenance. So you can have a house. I have 4 quadrants that I have on my vision chart. Kelvin knows what they are. And one of them is the mansion. And it is maintain the mansion. Maintain your stuff in good condition so that you don't have to go out and buy new or worry about disposing of something that doesn't work anymore.
Right.
And that's your business, starting with roof to deck. You did a house for us, Northeast Minneapolis, a house. It looked like the roof should be replaced.
Yeah.
By the time you got done with it, it was like, okay, is it an older roof? Yep, but it looks pretty darn good.
Yeah.
And now we got something that we can sell. So explain what roof to deck is and how that business, because that was really the beginning.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so
Yeah. So started the company in 95. So 30 years. Look, isn't that incredible?
Isn't that something?
32 when I started. I'm 62. My birthday is Monday, by the way. Just keep that in mind.
I'll put that in my next
Right,
birthday.
put it in the
Monday.
calendar.
Put it
There
on
you go.
right
Thank
now,
you very
Monday's
much.
birthday.
And so started with roof cleaning because we had that black streaks and stains on our roof. It's called glow caps and magma. It's an algae that grows on your roof. And it washes off. And when you wash it off, most of the time, it looks literally like you got a brand new roof. My cabin that I was just horrible. And I'm like, this is really ugly. And then washed it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's
Did
really
you wash
pretty.
it, or did you tell your guys?
Well, I
to
had
go?
one of my guys to do it, yeah, because it's pretty steep.
Well, I didn't know if that's.
He's 62.
Yeah.
He's fine. Look at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Kill him.
But anyway, so we started with roof cleaning, and then like any business.
Does
right?
it work on all roof surfaces? By
Yeah,
the way?
like everything.
It does. So wood roof, shake roofs.
Primarily the whole world is asphalt
Yeah.
and fiberglass, and then cedar shake wood roofs.
Okay.
Now, and wood is a totally different deal in the sense that the algae really isn't doing anything. It just makes your roof look bad, and it might lead to lichen and some stuff that kind of will then get into the
Deteriorate.
granules
Get it
a little
punky,
bit.
yeah.
But honestly speaking, that's not. It's an aesthetic thing most of the time.
Okay.
Now your cedar shake wood roof, no. Now that grows moss, and moss feeds on the wood, and it doesn't allow the wood to dry. And when wood doesn't dry, it rots.
Okay.
So you really do need to maintain your cedar shake roof. And cedar shake roofs, they're just crazy expensive.
Yes, they are.
Why would anybody do that? Is it just for the look?
And there was a lot of neighborhoods, Calvin, in the late 80s, early 90s that required natural materials. So they had to have brick, stucco,
just aesthetics.
wood roofs, all that, just an aesthetic thing.
Very high-end homes, right?
Okay.
It's a beautiful look.
Beautiful.
Really. Yeah. So anyway, then we got into that, and then people said, well, if you can clean my wood roof, can you clean my deck? So then we started doing that. And there's associations for everything on the planet. So if you want to learn how to do anything, join an association. The classes are practically free, if not free. And they taught us this is how you clean a wood deck, and here's the chemicals and all this different stuff you use. So then that's how we started the company, and then we started doing ice dams. So and we're getting like 8-9 inches of snow. I hope more. Maybe we'll get some ice dams out of this. And then we got into Christmas lighting. I know I'm a doctor.
Isn't that funny?
People get
Hoping
sick.
for
right?
sickness.
Great.
Hoping for
That's
illness.
so great.
Yeah.
I really hope
It would sure help me.
there's a lot of accidents.
Huge fan of divorce myself.
Right, exactly. We could talk about that for hours. Anyways, and then we got into Christmas lighting, which was great because now we can work our guys a little later. We put up lights. Best part, you take them down, so you got a little bit of work January, February, March. And then, of course, what else would you do in Minnesota? Plow snow, right, in the wintertime. So then we got into snow plowing, first residential, now we're into commercial. And you just keep going to the step that seems rather obvious to take. And then we got into more commercial stuff, so we washed trucks for Coca-Cola, FedEx, 2-minute truck, companies like that. And then a couple years ago, 5 years ago, we got into washing parking garages. And then, you got to keep those clean because they get dusty and just horrible.
Right.
And then the other part is if you don't get the salt out of there, that's going to get into the cement, and you're going to have to replace that whole thing. And that's millions of dollars if somebody just replace that.
And striping you do?
Yeah. And then we would subcontract that out, and then we had a subcontractor.
Like, look at this nice clean parking garage. We could use some new
Well, it goes
stripes.
together, right?
Yeah.
And so people would say, well, we need it washed and striped. And so, okay, well, we'll wash it, and then we'll subcontract it. And then we hired a subcontractor. And, of course, what's going to happen? They painted the wrong floor. So not that we couldn't possibly do that same thing. We've actually put Christmas lights on the wrong house. So,
Show up, be like, hey, thanks for that.
we've even done the wrong deck. It's like, they didn't hire us. That house did. But anyway, so that's, right. It's not as funny as you think.
So, hold on.
I bet not.
What do you
we
do?
installed a sign in the wrong one time.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
Had a for sale sign.
Sure.
You come home and there's a for sale sign in your front yard. You're like, wait, what? No, we're not moving.
Honey?
That's funny.
I took that call. It was great.
That's great. What do you do when you put lights up at the wrong house? Do you just leave them and just say, hey, congratulations?
I don't remember what we did.
Yeah,
it just really depends on the customer. 'Cause they
Wrong
might-
denomination, too.
like-
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted all blue
right,
ones.
Right, good.
All right. So then what about replacement then? Because you're out there, you're on the roof, and you look at the roof, you were there to wash it, and you look at the roof and you go, you know something? Washing isn't going to help this. You need to replace the roof. Do you then replace the roof or have subcontractors
No.
that you don't do that?
We're just we're a maintenance company. That's all we do.
Okay.
We don't build anything, nothing like that.
Okay.
And I like that aspect of it because kind of to your point earlier, it's like, look, just if you've got it, keep it, maintain it.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad
And it
place
defines
to
you,
be.
too. It's like we're not getting, we do a lot of things, but we're in our own lane.
Yeah.
Right?
We've got our niche.
Do you find yourself trending more then towards commercial work now or residential work, or has it kind of stayed the same in the last 10 years?
No, definitely commercial.
Okay.
The neat thing about commercial is you can go get it. You can actually pick up a phone and call and try to get somebody to buy your product, right? With residential, that's not really realistic. So you're advertising. And if you talk to people like there's a one called Home Mag, there's another one called RSVP, there's Valpak, and all those.
Yeah.
And if you talk to those people, the results have been really bad for everybody.
We used to advertise at Valpak and I don't want to get any phone calls,
Right,
any lawsuits or anything like that. Horrible.
and it's just we're in a bad time.
Horrible.
But you got to stay in there, otherwise.
I mean, I
you're
get
really
those
gonna
things
fall
in the
apart.
mail. They don't even make it in the house. I don't even open it. I just right in the garbage.
Yep. So anyway, so that's it's commercial. You can and with commercial too, especially with what we do. Again, it's kind of a maintenance thing. You have to do it. So it's just a matter of who you're going to choose.
Yeah, who and when.
Yeah.
So you don't have someone walking up and down the street, knocking on the door, knock, knock, knock. Say, by the way, your roof looks pretty bad.
Yeah, we've tried that stuff, and we used to, then put a postcard on every 5 doors around the house we're working on. Nothing ever caught traction.
Really?
No.
How do you get your new business now? Like, what's the key to new business?
For commercial,
Any
it's cold calling, and I've gotten really good at it. And I don't even hate it anymore. I mean, it's kind of
Isn't that
funny.
funny?
Yeah, it is funny because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm really this age and I'm making cold calls
Yeah.
now. But yeah, there's once you get your rhythm to it, we have something people need. So it's like, hey, you know what the trick
Plus,
is?
with your fleet business, you can say, look, we wash FedEx trucks, we wash UPS trucks. It gives you some credibility.
Yeah.
You got street cred, and now you're calling a little trucking company and say, we could wash your trucks too. Would you like us to wash your trucks?
Yeah.
Do you call them or do you send your sales rep in?
No.
Because
So
she's
there's
pretty
3.
good.
Well, yeah, she's really pretty. So she does well with trucking companies.
Yeah,
I can
know,
tell you
that's
that.
what I'm thinking.
Right. So she does those, and then I've been doing Christmas lighting for all the time, and that's what color do you like kind of thing, and then Christmas lighting, snow plowing. I've been selling that, and then so now I'm gonna this year, and I'm trying to step back. So I'm like at 62. All my friends are retiring. I'm sure yours are too. And so I'm like saying, okay, let's dial this back. I'm going to take Fridays off from now on. So no more Fridays. Maybe come a little late on Monday, and I want the management and the operations
Step
to
up.
go to another
Level.
person
Right.
while I'm still capable
Absolutely.
of kind of keep. So that's Maddie, and she's amazing. And then now, so my job is just sales, and that's what I'd like it to be for the next 10 years.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you create
Keith
you
is
create
almost
a
as
staff.
old as you.
I'm almost there.
Yeah.
You're
He
3 or 4
turns-
years ahead of me. So, and I'm still looking for that replacement person. Unfortunately, in our business, it's you don't do that. The only way to do that is the way we had it set up before, when we had a very large team, or we had our own company, and title company and all of that, and that's just a whole different world from real estate. But what happens there is you lose for me personally, I like the individual transaction working with individual clients.
Yeah,
Oh,
can
that's
you
great.
think about it like in real estate? If you were just to stop and then start referring all of your business out,
Yeah.
then there's the reoccurrence of that business coming back to you is not going to happen any
Correct.
longer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you're also doing no work
Right.
because that is the work.
Yeah.
That is the work. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So unless
Yeah.
you want to just totally stop working.
Yeah. That's it. Not for this
No.
cat.
Can't.
No, I
Can't
can't.
do
There's
it.
no way.
Well,
Can't
we're going
do
to
it.
head out to break here. Mike, you're going to hang out for the
Yeah,
last
yeah, yeah.
segment as you always do. It'll
Yep.
be Calvin's show when we return. Money segment. This is Real Estate Chalk Talk. Call us 612-627-8000 and log on to our website, hittnergroup.com.
Hey there. Welcome back to the program. This is the big money segment of the show. Calvin Kamick, ladies and gentlemen. Kelvin Carmile.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got your name right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
know.
did. He did. Now he just had to change it.
651-231-2500. That's the number to call. That's the money hotline.
Smart people call.
Smart people call that number.
Yep.
Get your great
You're
rates.
smart, right, Keith?
I call your number all the time.
I
know
do
you do.
too. It
Never
never
answer,
answers.
though.
It goes
Oh,
right
geez.
straight to voicemail.
It does not. Never
Straight to
does.
voicemail. I text, no response.
That's what I get.
That's not.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's like he's
Oh,
going to hit me
jeez.
back. It's
Yeah.
like days, if ever.
Nothing.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Oh, it's good to see everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Can't thank you enough for
No,
all the
can't
time.
take it. Thanks for everybody coming. A lot of stuff going on. Give me a quick real estate update.
Quick real estate update is we are in this absolute, complete, normal real estate market.
Okay.
Properties coming on the market this time of the year slowly, as we would expect. In January, I always get all nervous in January, never going to sell another house every January for
Yep.
40 years.
Us
And that's
too.
the way it is. February, really starting to get nervous because still had nothing happening. And then March comes and all of a sudden the gates open up and people are like finally starting to think about
I
it.
think right now you have a fantastic opportunity. If you have a house around, median sales price to $450,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a nice home.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of crap on the market.
Yes, there is.
So I'm out shopping around with folks, and just as a for instance, I'm looking at houses $375 to $425 in like Rosemount, Lakeville, Apple Valley, these communities, right? And we're seeing stuff at $400,000 that is homeowner jobs, terrible trim work, installation of your own flooring, finished a bathroom by yourself and the sheetrock looks terrible. This is what we're seeing. House smells, vacant, cold, terrible exterior maintenance on the property. And then you find one for the same price that is well maintained, some updating in the home, nice backyard, fenced in, great home. And I was out showing just this last week, and there was like 14 groups of people in this house.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple offers, sells for $15,000 over the asking price.
Exactly.
So, it's really important to pay attention to, one, of course, pricing for what product you have you're selling.
Yep.
But then proper preparation of that listing prior to putting it on the market.
I think the preparation is key.
Yep.
Proper planning prevents poor performance. I mean, it is so true, because you pay in the price. We deal with a lot of estates, like I said, and they always say, we want to sell it as is. It's like, oh man, I was just at one yesterday. So we got a little one-level townhome slab on grade coming on the market, $400,000. $400,000. But it's got a nice porch. It's got this and all that. And so it's like, if you put new carpet in and paint it, you're going to get your $400. If you don't, you're going to get $350 or $325.
It's a big deal.
Yeah,
Wow,
and it's
that
not that much.
Yep.
It's not $50,000-$60,000 to
Exactly.
put carpet in.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's a lot of ways that we can do that and pay for it at closing. So you don't even have to have that money up front.
Right.
So we have
Absolutely.
programs, you have programs,
Yep.
that we can help get that listing ready for sale and have it look fantastic.
We'll just take care of
and
it.
we'll settle up at closing.
Yeah.
I love that line. We'll just settle up at closing,
Yeah.
right? So
easy.
so we're seeing, just on our side, we're seeing multiple offers, and we're seeing seller paid closing costs so it's funny, we see seller paid closing costs and a lot of contribution, really a
Right.
desire to put the deal together.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have other ones where it is multiple offers,
Right.
and they're selling 15 to 20,000 above ask. So it's like,
I have one right here while
Crazy,
we're on the
right?
show here, texting back and forth, and it's like,
yeah, you
I
seem
think we're
distracted.
yeah,
Didn't
thank you.
see
I'm like
distracted?
10,000 off the sales price plus another $5,000 in seller paids.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And then the other one where it's like, no, we're going to give you the best offer. We're not taking any seller paids, and we're going 15,000 over the asking price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. Well, let's talk about
So
mortgage.
which position would you want to be as a seller? I mean,
Right.
that's the point.
So,
is
well,
I would rather
get your house ready for
get
sale.
your house ready for sale.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk real quick about mortgage rates. I'll give you a couple of headlines. Number one, nice win for bonds with help from data. So that was good. Refinance applications tick back up as rates play ball. Next headline, mortgage rates finally make a move lower. Making headway on data. So there's a lot
What's making headway on data mean?
of a lot of the economic news is coming out that's starting to help us a little bit.
Okay.
So, and I'm not going to get in the weeds because what I found none of it matters.
Okay.
So rates are getting a little bit better, and that's good. So now your rate for sure will have a 6 in front of it.
Okay.
So that's good. So we were high 6s, low 7s, and we're like low 7s, mid 7s, and but now
Yeah.
we've back down, and we're kind of in that
High sixes.
high 6s mark, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is saying that rates are going to be in the 6s this year, so no one is saying, hey, we're going to get to 5, 5.5, 4, maybe,
Right.
no one's even saying that. So I kind of like that in a way, because the expectation is you're going to have a 6 in front of it, and then are there some creative things we can do to maybe get a 5 in front of it for a year, or a 4 in front of it for a year, and then, we're doing a lot of 2-1 buy downs, 1-0 buy downs. So if you want to know more about how to do that, give us a call. We'll visit about that, but it is it's a good market, and the rates are okay. We just need more activity. We have so many pre-approvals right now, so we're just like, can somebody buy a flipping house?
I've noticed, Kelvin, because I've been looking at a lot of new construction. You got these big builders, and they got
Yep.
forward commitments made, and so they're offering
Yep.
what was considered an attractive interest rate, but it's still like 6.8 or 6.5, or it's not that great.
Well, it's not, because the forward commitment they bought was when rates were mid 7s. So then it looked great. But now
Yeah.
as rates come down, those forward commitments aren't as attractive.
Yeah.
Last week I was in California for our manager meeting, kind of rah-rah thing, right?
Yep.
But we had our builder division talk, and they're doing a lot of they're doing a lot of small and mid-sized builders, and they're doing forward commitments for them now. So it used to be the minimum commitment for a forward commitment would be $10 million, and now it's 5, now it's 3. So it's just a smaller amount that these builders can come in and offer these really attractive programs, and they're just buying the money up front, spreading it over the homes, like
It's all built into the price.
It is, and so last 2 weeks ago, this is my experience, they have the 2-1 buy down program, and it's on these specific houses that they're selling.
Yes.
So here's house A and house B. They're the same model, same house. This one is $575. This one is $525. This $575 one has the incentive for the low interest rate, and the $525 one does not. But we will cover $10,000 in closing costs.
Yes.
It's very expensive over here to get that buy down program.
Yes.
Taken care of.
Yep.
Costs a lot of money.
Take the $525.
And so we're like, we'll do the $525 and take the $10K in closing costs and move on.
Absolutely.
And refinance maybe in a year or two or whatever.
I experienced the same thing this weekend. We're out and we had 6 different builders, national builders, and we're looking, and they have the same thing. On inventory homes, they have the forward commitment money built into the price, hidden in there, and then but on a to be built, it's not even available.
Okay, guys, what does that mean?
We're buying
Yeah.
Forward commitment is basically the builder going to a lender like Loan Depot saying, I want to buy a block of money for $3 million or $4 million, and they will pay a premium to get that, but they'll buy a low rate on it. And because they're buying as much, we can give them a lower rate. So, and then they apply that cost around on these 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 lots. And now they offer that low rate for you as long as you qualify.
Okay.
The thing
the qualification is pretty strict. I mean, you need to be 820 plus. You have to be putting 20% down.
Bingo.
XYZ. I mean, it's pretty.
Here's the thing that was striking
silly,
to me, and
I'm
and I was frustrated with myself because you have these big builders and then they're giving out awards and I don't get one, right? I don't get one. I'm not a big.
You didn't get an award.
I didn't get anything. No one cheered for me. Nothing. But these guys that are walking across stage, you know what they're doing? They're backup lenders for the national builders. And then they're doing new construction for the small and mid-size, and they're backup for Pulte, and they're going in, and now I'm your backup guy because for exactly what you said, for those programs, it's 7(a), it's this. They don't take bond programs. They don't take grants. They don't do all the weird stuff that we'll do.
Right.
They don't do any of that. They don't have a bank statement program. They don't have a P&L program. They just don't have these programs. And then at the end of the day, when people are really negotiating back and forth, they'll still get maybe, like you said, it'll take $525 and we'll give $10,000. That's perfect. And then we'll actually get them into the home versus.
Do you get to use that $10,000 or does it have to be with their own lender?
No, we can use it.
Okay.
We've had some locally that we still get the money.
Okay.
Everybody wants to,
They just want the deal done.
They want the deal done and they want to pound their chest and then until they ran your credit and then they saw you have a 740 and they're like, boy, you're tough. And we're like, 740? Woohoo.
Super.
Super duper.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So there is that aspect. So if you're a small mid-sized builder, we'd love to have a conversation. If you're looking at new construction and you get bumped out, call us. Let us help you on that piece. The other thing we talked a lot about is just that renovation deal. We just got it. Like we just got to get better at selling some of the stuff we have. The renovation loan. If you find a home,
we're working on one right
love,
now. If we can get this put together, it'll be a wonderful situation.
Yep. So if if you have a home that you're going, oh, I love the home, I like the lot, but I just need a third bedroom or I need this or I need that, let's have a conversation and I'll get the right people involved and we'll get that home fixed up for you. So anyway, give me a call. Kelvin K. Mink, Loan Depot, 651-231-2500.
That's it for this week on your Real Estate Chalk Talk with the Hittner Group. Keith, you're going to be on vacation next week or you're going to be in the studio?
No, I'll be
He's
here.
got a lot of vacation
lot of
time
vacations,
scheduled.
man.
Whatever.
It's very nice.
One vacation in the last 3 years.
Holy
Sorry.
buckets.
Pretty
That's it.
great. Pretty great.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.